Right now, more than 2.5 billion people use a website that was originally built to help you find a date. Not a video platform. Not a place to watch cat videos or documentaries or your favorite creator's latest upload. A dating site. And it failed so badly that the founders were paying strangers on Craigslist just to get anyone to use it. This is the story of how one of the biggest websites on Earth started as a broken idea, nearly went bankrupt more times than anyone remembers, got sued for $1 billion, and somehow became the second most visited place on the internet. Chapter 1. A dating site nobody wanted. In early 2005, 3 former PayPal employees, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, sat around trying to solve a much smaller problem than the one they'd eventually stumble into. Their original pitch was essentially video speed dating. Upload a clip of yourself, get rated by other users, connect with people you liked. It's a strange origin story for a platform now mostly known for gaming live streams and true crime essays, but that was the actual pitch. They even registered the domain on Valentine's Day, which in hindsight feels almost too fitting. The site launched into public beta in April 2005, and the very first video ever uploaded wasn't a music video or a prank. It was one of the founders standing in front of an elephant enclosure at the zoo, rambling for 18 seconds about how long elephant trunks are. However, nobody showed up for the dating angle. The site was, in the founders' own words later, essentially a ghost town. They tried offering people money to upload videos of themselves. It still didn't work. But while the dating experiment was quietly dying, something completely unplanned was happening in the background. Chapter 2. The accidental pivot. People weren't using YouTube to date. They were using it to dump random video files they had sitting on their computers and memory cards, with no real plan for what to do with them. Skate fails, pet videos, home movies nobody else would ever normally see. Within about a month, roughly 30,000 people were visiting daily. Not for romance, but because the site had quietly become the easiest place on the internet to just put a video online and get a link to share. To their credit, the founders read the room. Instead of forcing their original vision, they leaned all the way into what users actually wanted. A place to upload literally anything, with no real restrictions. This decision looks obvious in hindsight. At the time, it was a genuine gamble. They were abandoning their entire original business plan to chase something they hadn't intended to build. However, video sharing wasn't actually a new idea. Other companies had tried it years earlier and completely failed. So why would this attempt be any different? Chapter 3. Why everyone before them had failed online video sharing had been attempted since the late 1990s, and it kept failing for very practical reasons. Video files were massive. Internet connections were slow. Hosting costs were brutal. And every camera and device recorded video in different formats that didn't always play nicely with every website. YouTube's advantage wasn't a smarter business plan. It was timing, plus one clever technical decision. The founders built the site around Flash Player, a free browser plugin that could convert almost any video format into a single, universal format that played instantly in a browser, streamed in small chunks, and didn't require downloading the whole file first. That single decision is easy to overlook, but it's arguably the single biggest reason YouTube worked when a decade of earlier attempts hadn't. Suddenly, sharing a video was as simple as sending a link. However, being easy to share created its own kind of problem, because it meant something could spread far beyond who it was originally meant for, faster than anyone could control. Chapter 4. Going viral before viral was a word. In the 2005, MySpace was the center of the internet's social world. And when someone found something funny on YouTube, the fastest way to share it wasn't email. It was posting the link on their MySpace page. This combination created some of the earliest viral videos in internet history. clips that spread almost entirely through word of mouth with no algorithm pushing them, no advertising. Nothing but people forwarding a link because they thought it was funny. More visitors meant more uploads. More uploads meant more chances at another viral hit. It was a feedback loop nobody had designed on purpose. It just happened. However, while this looked incredible from the outside, the reality inside the company was closer to panic, because every single one of those new visitors was quietly costing them money they didn't have. Chapter 5. Running out of money in real time. Hosting video is expensive, and in 2005 it was even more expensive than it is now. YouTube had started with a hosting deal advertised as unlimited bandwidth for a flat monthly fee. That deal fell apart almost immediately once usage actually spiked. The hosting company started billing them thousands of dollars a month instead, charged directly to a personal credit card. And there was a deeper problem underneath that one. YouTube didn't actually have a business model yet. There was no advertising system, no plan to make money at all. Every new user was pure cost, with zero revenue attached to offset it. Investors weren't interested either. Most who looked at the company saw a great concept attached to what they believed was an unsustainable cost structure. Video hosting was simply too expensive to ever turn a profit in their view. However, sometimes the thing that saves a company isn't a strategic decision, it's a barbecue. Chapter 6. The barbecue that changed everything. One of the founders ran into an old co-worker at a social gathering who mentioned he was struggling to share his honeymoon videos with friends and family. That co-worker got a personal walkthrough of how to upload to YouTube and happened to work at Sequoia Capital, one of the most influential venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. That chance connection led to a formal pitch, and in late 2005, Sequoia invested millions of dollars into the company, money that arrived just in time to keep the servers running. The team used the funding to hire more people and moved into a small office, which, according to early employees, came with an unwanted feature, a serious rat infestation. However, the celebration didn't last long, because the very platform that had helped YouTube go viral was about to turn against it. Chapter 7. The subscribe button and the war with MySpace. As more people started making videos specifically for YouTube rather than just storing personal clips, the team introduced a small feature that would end up mattering more than almost anything else they built: the subscribe button. It gave people a reason to keep coming back to a specific creator, not just a specific video. Growth exploded. Daily visitors doubled again and again within weeks. But right as YouTube officially launched out of beta in December 2005, MySpace, its biggest source of traffic, declared war. YouTube links started getting removed and restricted, and MySpace launched its own competing video feature. It should have been devastating. Instead, it barely slowed them down, because YouTube had already become something bigger than a place people visited through MySpace. It had become a destination people sought out directly, because a community of creators was building there that didn't exist anywhere else. However, unrestricted uploads from anyone, anywhere, came with an enormous downside that was about to catch up with them, one that nearly ended the company entirely. Chapter 8. Sued into oblivion. By 2006, YouTube was hosting millions of videos, and a significant chunk of them contained copyrighted music, TV clips, and movie footage uploaded without any permission. Major record labels filed lawsuits. One of the largest media companies in the world threatened legal action over unauthorized clips of its television content spreading across the platform. At the same time, YouTube still didn't have a real advertising system, and running ads on content that might be pirated or inappropriate felt like inviting even more lawsuits. The company was simultaneously one of the fastest-growing websites in internet history, and by most traditional business measures, worth very little. Then, less than 18 months after launch, the founders posted a short video announcing something almost nobody expected. Google was acquiring YouTube for $1.65 billion. However, being owned by Google didn't make the copyright problem disappear. If anything, it made YouTube a bigger, more visible target. And one particular media company was about to sue for $1 billion. Chapter 9. Turning Chaos into a Business. With Google's resources behind it, YouTube built a system called Content ID, a way for copyright holders to scan uploads for matches to their material and choose to remove it or simply take a share of the ad revenue instead. It transformed piracy from a legal threat into, for many rights holders, an actual income stream. Then in 2007, YouTube introduced the feature that would define the entire creator economy going forward, the Partner Program, splitting ad revenue directly with the people making videos. For the first time, people didn't need a studio, a record label, or a broadcast network's permission to build an audience and get paid for it. Every gatekeeper that had controlled who got to be a filmmaker, a musician, or a public voice had effectively been removed. However, once people realized views translated directly into money, the platform faced a new problem it hadn't anticipated: an explosion of misleading titles and thumbnails purely engineered to get clicks, regardless of whether the video delivered anything of value. Chapter 10. Chasing watch time, then chasing trust. YouTube's answer was to shift its entire recommendation system away from raw view counts and toward watch time, rewarding videos that kept people engaged for longer, on the theory that people don't keep watching something they regret clicking on. This single algorithm change reshaped what kind of content succeeded on the platform, encouraging longer-form videos and deeper engagement rather than pure clickbait. But growth brought a new set of problems that had nothing to do with algorithms. Major advertisers began pulling their ads after discovering they were running next to extremist or disturbing content, in an event the industry nicknamed the Adpocalypse. It happened more than once, and each time thousands of creators watched their income disappear overnight through no fault of their own. However, through every one of these crises, copyright wars, advertiser boycotts, algorithm overhauls, public backlash over things like the infamous 2018 Rewind video, the platform kept growing. And what it eventually became looks almost nothing like what its founders originally set out to build. Today, YouTube creators run entire production companies, some with hundreds of employees, and productions rivaling network television. The platform now competes directly with traditional TV for the living room and with platforms like TikTok for short-form attention. And by most measures, it's winning both fights at once. It's easy to forget all of this started with a dating site nobody used, a stolen elephant clip, a personal credit card racking up debt nobody could pay, and a barbecue conversation that happened to go the right way. If you found this as wild as I did, I've got another video. Comment, subscribe, and hit the like button, and I'll see you there.